Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Habiba Marashi, and I am an Emirati. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I'm an environmentalist. By the way, this logo of Emirates Environmental Group was developed in the early 1990s by many schools. We threw it open as a competition between the schools at that time, and many came in, poured, and then of course we had a professional company that went through it, sieved through it, and worked a bit on tweaking it and bringing it to what you see in front of you. And it's a beautiful story of the sea, the desert, the palm, the recycling logo in the middle, and the colors of the UAE flag. So we were established in 1991. None of you was born in there. I was a young mother myself, and I had children. You know, the oldest was 9 years old, and the youngest was 6 months old. And I was a member of a group of 12 people that we came from the different walks of life, different nationalities, and we felt a very strong urge to create a platform that we really engage all sectors of the society to work together to the protection and well-being of the environment. Our slogan is Together for a Better Environment. And as you can see, how we interact with the different sectors of the society and how we engage with different people, different organizations, and different platforms. To build reputation and to build credibility, you need to understand where you stand, and you need to understand the work that you are doing, and you need to see where you are positioned, whether it's on the national level or on the regional level. So we started working with international bodies to build our credibility, our capacity, our reputation, and you can see that we became an ISO 14001 certified for our environmental management system. And this is something that I hope you will learn about as you move to the, particularly in the area that you are doing GCSE and you will be doing your A levels. This will open avenues for you to go into environment as a career path. We became the first environmental NGO in the world to be ISO 14001 certified in 2001, and we did not know about it. We just went into it because that was the right thing to do, and we wanted to put our house in order from the beginning. But then we received a letter from the organization, the ISO standard, to say, congratulations, you are the first environmental NGO in the world to be ISO 14001 certified. It really helped build the credibility, the trust of the private sector to the organization, and we could push the agenda and encourage entities, companies to go for this certification. We started going for UN bodies, and we became the first entity in the GCC region to be accredited to United Nations Environment Program, which I'm sure you've all heard about, UNEP, the body that is responsible to govern environmental issues all over the world. All the global summits that you hear, all the COP meetings and all that are organized by this body. And then we joined another body, which is the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. This is again a very strong United Nations platform. Why did we go for these two entities? Because of the sheer collaboration and alignment between our objective as an NGO and the objective of these two international bodies. And it helped us a lot to build our capacity. It opened our eyes to what is going on in different parts of the world. And we were able to learn and bring across to our country what will suit us and how we can benefit from the learnings of these different regions and implement it here on the ground. We are members of other bodies as well. I hope it is clear. You can see it on the screen. It's a new body, GPML. It's a platform that talks about sustainable food systems, which I'm very happy to see that you have started something called the organic farming. You understand the importance of planting your own vegetables. Sustainable food systems is a wide and beautiful and huge area that I hope you will look into it, and this is one of the most important issues in modern day life. As the population of the globe increases, we need to ensure that everybody is getting adequate food, nutritious food for that matter. COVID-19 brought these inequalities very much to the fore. While we have been privileged in this part of the world that we had everything that we wanted and we've never felt a shortage or a need, many parts of the world were not the case. I know for a fact in quite a few countries in Africa, in the villages, where the children were only getting one full nutritious meal during the day in the school. But when the schools closed, they did not have access to that nutritious meal. So the level, the number, the percentage of children that went into malnutrition rose drastically. The hunger in the world increased. So COVID did not only have an environmental impact, it had many, many impacts. We are members of the UN Global Compact, another global body that targets the private sector, government institutions, to ensure that we abide by certain principles, to ensure that we are living in a just and healthy planet. And we have a partnership as well with 10-year framework plan for food systems. So you can see our areas of focus in the different environmental issues. Whom do we deal with? And different sectors of the society, the academia, the corporations, the government institutions, the families, private sector, civil society organization, different parts. So every sector of the society, we work with them closely, and we have done programs with them that suits every sector of the society. Our partnership with the academic sector is very strong, and we have throughout the year different environmental programs that is only targeted to the education institutions. Some of them are national, some of them are regional. It covers all the Arab countries. So I hope, inshallah, after today, we will engage you more effectively and more actively in our different educational programs. As in everything you do in life, when you want to start something, you have to understand and you have to think to yourself, why am I doing it? What is the objective of embarking on this? Why would I want to do this? So for us as well, when we started Emirates Environmental Group, we put a set of objectives to ensure that we understand what we are doing, what is our scope of work, what is our area of focus, how will we build our expertise in those areas, and how will we benefit the whole society and the country through these areas of strengths that we have. So these are, of course, many objectives. It doesn't necessarily need to be this many. You can only have one objective, two objectives if you are trying to do something. But it is important to understand in everything that you are doing, so that when you are implementing it, you want to return back and see, did I deliver on this particular objective that I committed myself to? One of our areas of focus from our objectives was recycling and waste management, and we took it really as a flagship for the work that we do. Why did we start this from the early 1990s? Because this was one of the areas that we identified when we did a strong research and survey on the ground to find what are the strengths that we have and what are the gaps that are there. And we found that the amount of waste generated by every one of us here in the UAE is very high. Not that we are the only country. Many countries in the world have that problem. Waste is a problem globally. Waste is an issue that everyone is challenged with to find the most suitable way of dealing with. So for us as well, we started to building the awareness, raising the commitment of the society, making them proactive members, and to look at how do we reduce the amount of waste that we produce. How do we learn to reuse materials? So if you come to our office, for example, you will find every single item, every single piece of furniture has been donated to us by one company that did not want it anymore, so they gave it to us. So this is reusing material. When you hand over your clothes that are smaller for you to your younger children, that is reusing your material. So to understand, to appreciate our resources and to use them in an effective way is very helpful to the environment. And the last one was, how do we recycle? So we started looking, do we have recycling factories in the UAE, in Dubai? Can we start recycling? What can we recycle? So the first recycling program that we rolled out was in 1997 as an annual ongoing program, and that is the Aluminium Collection Campaign. As I'm standing here this morning, I have a team that was in Jabal Ali Hotel. With the Jabal Ali Hotel as a corporate member, they had collected 300 kilos of aluminium cans. So we collect throughout the year the aluminium cans and we give it to the local factory, and I will take you through the details of that. Then another thing is to increase the sustainable green spaces in the country. There's a difference between a desert environment and a desertification. And this is very important, and I'll appreciate if this terminologies, this kind of discussions are encouraged in the classrooms so that really the students can understand the difference and then learn. Once they understand, then they will learn how to deal with them and be an effective members in mitigating the impacts. So I will go quickly through all areas. Of course, we engage every sector of the society. I remember when we started, the UAE was 190 nationalities. Today, UAE is more than 204 nationalities. So for us to be able to be effective, we need to reach out to everyone, every community that resides in the UAE, and bring them into the fold. That is what environmental protection is all about, and that is where our slogan comes, together for a better environment. So our key focus areas, you can see our educational programs, our recycling programs, our community engagement, and our corporate. So we, as I mentioned, we deal with the different sectors. So the corporate world is a world by itself, and we have very effective partnership with the academia. You are in academia, so we have a wide network of academic institutions that are members with us, and we engage with them effectively throughout the year. The universities and colleges that we work together in research and in accepting students to do internship with us, and vice versa, conducting workshops, conducting panel discussion, and the list goes on. We have a lot of strong programs, and I will take you through them one by one. So all our educational programs, we were able to roll them out as a strong annual programs in 2001. We were doing them before, one off here, one off there, but then we brought all our resources together, and in 2001, we managed to roll out our programs. So it starts with the environmental drawing competition, and we have brought you a beautiful table calendar on the stage. I hope that you will collect your copies afterward. This is the work of similar students like you from the age of 6 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 14. Themes are environmental themes. Every year we roll out this competition, certain period of time, and the winning entries are turned into table calendars. Tomorrow, in fact, we have the awarding ceremony of the winners of this cycle, and it will be conducted in the Ismaili Center. Again, that is an example of how we work with the different communities in the UAE. So this is a community that have got a beautiful center that they are hosting our awarding ceremony. So the students will be coming from all over UAE, different nationalities, from normal school as well as special schools. We gift the students beautiful material that they need to pursue art, if this is a hobby for them, to encourage them to take art as well. And this is sponsored by the different corporate members that are on board. So inshallah, I hope next year you will participate in this competition and you will be amongst the winners, and we will see your work in the calendar. The other program that we have is Inter-School Environmental Public Speaking Competition. This is a program that takes place for the sub-senior level and senior level, so intermediate and secondary school level. It's been going on since 2001. Hundreds of schools, thousands of students every year come together and compete with us in this platform. It's got a rolling trophy, so the school that wins gets that rolling trophy with their name embossed on it, and then next year they come to defend it. It's just like sports. But we are competing on stage. The team will come on stage with an audience of 400 or more, listen to them in 7 minutes only, present a very strong case of the subject that they have chosen on a pre-decided 4 topics. They choose whichever one they want, and then they present. They identify the problem, and then they suggest solutions. The purpose of this kind of is to teach you to work together, to build your capacity, your confidence to address your fellow students, to be eloquent speakers, to talk about environmental issues with passion, to understand environmental issues. And this is a really very tough and very popular program that runs amongst the schools. This year was a unique year. We extended it, so because we finished 20 years, this was the 21st year. We extended it from 2 days to 4 days. Every day was one topic because of the sheer number of teams and students that want to be involved. And it's been 2 years now that we are doing it. 2020, 21, and 22, we have done them virtual programs, but inshallah 2023, we hope that it will be a physical event again. Similar to that, we have Intercollege. Intercollege is between universities and colleges, and it covers all the Arab countries. This is a program that is similar to that, but the conditions are a bit different. And in all these competitions, we have a panel of jury members that are bilingual, experts in the environmental issues that judge the students as they perform and as they deliver. The other thing that I mentioned is the students' workshop, inshallah. And this is, again, a very strong platform that we engage students from different schools coming together to build that network and to work together to understand environmental challenges and actually suggest solutions during the full-day program. And we have a lot of outreach as we are doing now. We do a lot of programs with the schools. These are some of the pictures, as you can see, from the different programs that we have. Some of them when it was a physical environment, and some of them hybrid or virtual. That gives you just an example of the number of paintings that we receive throughout this every cycle. Now we come to sharing with you some data. Can you see the numbers? Good. We come to our other area of focus, which is the waste management and recycling, and it engages different sectors of the society. So we started with one program, we kept on building on it. Sorry, did I get you? Until we managed to do, we do 8 programs at the moment. They run throughout the year. So when you are told that, oh, there's no recycling that happens in the UAE, actually that's not true. There's a lot of recycling that happens. These are 8 materials that we, for a fact, collect and recycle here locally. So it means now we have quite a few factories that take on board these materials and turn them into good products. And we are very proud of these achievements that we have managed to since we started in the early 1990s. So I will share with you why we recycle and from the global perspective, as well as we will come to the national level and what is our role and what we are doing. So understanding all these challenges and understanding all these frightening numbers, it really pushes us, encourages us that we as individuals, you as students, because you are the future generation and this planet, you are inheriting it. So we want you to ensure that what you are getting is something good. So this shows you why we recycle, what is the sustainability, and how do we go about it. So why, that is how we have turned it into the different programs in numbers, yeah? This is the first program that I mentioned, the Aluminium Collection Campaign. More than 300,000 kgs of aluminium cans have been collected, given to the factory in Jabal Ali that gets recycled, melted, poured into cubes. It's just like the gold bar, but this is aluminium bar. And it is sold in the global market, it's sold locally, and it has got a high value. And the prices changes on a daily basis. So it's a very economic issue as well, but it is a very strong environmental issue. And it comes back to the market. So from the day you deposit your aluminium can to the day the new aluminium can comes on the shelf in any supermarket here in the UAE is only 60 days, okay? A lot of aluminium that gets circulated in the country goes nicely into the recycling loop. So this promotes a new concept. I'm sure in the last year you will be told the concept of circular economy, low carbon economy. So this pours completely and feeds into these new concepts, and they are very effective actually. You can see the amount of paper that we have collected from 2001, plastics, glass, toners, electronic waste, metal scrap. Okay, so you have all, and mobile phones. Mobile phones, again, when we started this program, we used to collect the mobile phones, pack them, and ship them to Finland, to Nokia factory in Finland. And they used, of course, to crush it, dismantle it, remove all, extract all the valuable mineral materials from it, and pump it back into their production. And Nokia had given us a certificate to say 80%, guys, I want you to understand this, 80% of a mobile that you think is useless and you do not need it anymore, actually is a beautiful raw material that goes back into the production line. So they said they were doing it not only because of environmental benefit, they were doing it for the sheer fact of the economic value that it was adding for them. But now, alhamdulillah, we have here in Dubai the factory. It's an international factory that has opened in Jabal Ali as well. So they take it off us, they crush it, they extract from it all the raw materials, and they sell it as valuable raw material in the market. Just some facts with numbers, yeah, I will go through this very fast. The can collection, the year it started, the environmental resulting. So in every program that we do, we ensure that we have the calculation, the environmental calculations. How much CO2 emissions we are reducing from the environment, how much landfill space. So imagine if this was not recycled and it was ending up in landfill, how much space it will take. But when we recycle it, this is the amount of landfill that we are saving. And this is again feeding into the national strategy in the country. The same thing with the papers. You can see the quantities and you can see the environmental benefits there. And of course, when you are buying paper, it means many trees have been cut to enable you to get that paper. But when we recycle that, and paper you can recycle it 12 times only, but then it loses the fiber. But with aluminium, you can recycle it forever. It doesn't change anything. With glass, you can recycle it forever without losing any of its characteristics. So this, again, things that we learned as we moved along, and we understood the impact of these beautiful community programs that we have rolled out. All these programs can be participated on the school level, can be participated on the student level, as well as on the family level. The plastic collection, the glass collection. Again, when we started collecting glass, we found it very challenging and very difficult. Nobody wanted to take from us, although there were factories here in the UAE producing glass, but they did not want to take this used glass. But then something beautiful happened. They expanded and they wanted to sell their products abroad. What happened is there are a lot of regulations, requirements in the EU market and elsewhere to say that for every product they sell, they have to have a percentage of recycled glass in there. So they came back to us actually. Instead of us going to them, they came to us to say, can you please help us to get that material? So then we built those effective partnership and we started diverting glass. There's a lot of glass bottles at home that you consume. Again, instead of throwing it in the garbage, think of it as raw material. And with the others as well, the toners, mobile phones, as I mentioned, e-waste and scrap metal. This is one of the new ones we've started a few years ago. The community projects. We have designed, came up with different projects to suit different sectors of the society. These are all small projects, small-time projects, big projects, but 2 weeks, 1 month, according to what suits who. And many entities participate in there, and you can see the facts and the numbers and the active participation. The neighborhood recycling project is only for the student community. It's a summer program that starts on 1st of June, completes on 30th of September. So you can actively be involved. It helps you build that relationship with your neighbors, communicate, design, collect, organize collection. So you get a lot of skills through this program. And all these programs have an awarding ceremony and awarding scheme to it, and I'll come to that later on. These are some of the flyers which I will, inshallah, we will share with you so that it can be circulated amongst the students to participate. Each one of them has got its own. We have one that will start on 17th of June, the World Day to Combat Desertification. It's on reduction of paper consumption. It's called Recycle, Reforest, and Repeat. And it is only to collect papers. So I hope that, inshallah, not only in the school, but at home, you will start collecting at home, and you will register your school as the highest collector in this cycle, inshallah. This is the neighborhood recycling program that I mentioned. And we have green coal, which we just concluded. The can collection is the first actual program, and it has got 2 days, the can collection day and the can collection drive. So the next one will be in November, and I look forward to see you collecting your cans and joining us. You can see the different action programs that we have. I will share with you some numbers for the Clean Up UAE. This is a program that we started in 2002. And it continues, it covers all UAE, and it's a very strong program. Hundreds of schools from all over the country, they participate, companies, government organizations, families, different sectors of the society. So please look at this is only last year, that in spite of COVID, we were given the permission by the government to open it and do a physical event because it's an outdoor event. So we did it in more than 11 locations in all over the country, actually. There was not one single emirate that we did not do it. And we had, mashallah, this number of participation and the amount of waste that are collected from the wrong places. These are wadis, these are valleys, these are mountain areas, these are industrial areas, picnic areas, parks, open areas that you all go and enjoy when the weather is good. But sometimes some irresponsible people, they go there, but they just leave their waste behind. So this exercise is to clean and to get a message that this is not the right behavior and attitude. And we engage a lot of students as well, so that the message gets across. Since inception, since 2002, This is the number of people that have been actively engaged in everything that we do. The data collection, the archiving, understanding the facts are all there, and we feed actually the government institutions with our data. Emirates Recycling Award will be taking place on the 6th of June. These are all the winning entities that participated with us last year. So now we will be awarding them and recognizing them. So we give schools electronics, like laptops, desktops, LCD projectors, whatever you want. And this is usually sourced out from the different corporate members that we have on board, as well as the families and the students get beautiful gifts from us, and the family and the companies get crystal awards. This gives you the idea of the size of this awarding ceremony and how well it is attended and recognized. It's the only award of its kind in the country, and it's a huge event. So this is one of my favorite programs for our Emirates we planned. As I mentioned, we started it in 2007, and we have quite a few projects under it. And you can see some of the factors. Because these trees, you all know, you are taught, they take CO2 and they give you oxygen. So through the sheer number of trees that we have planted, this is how much CO2 emissions every year these trees are absorbing, so mitigating it from the environment, which pours directly into Sustainable Development Goal number 13, climate action. So when you say, what can I do as an individual? You can do a lot. Collect your recyclable material, waste, give it to us, we will recycle it, so you are reducing your CO2 emissions, and then we give you a present, and that is a tree sapling that you will plant it yourself on a beautiful day in a beautiful place in the month of December. So this year it will take place on 22/12/22. Last year it was on 21/12/21. And how much CO2 emissions that you have comparing, you are mitigating? This just to bring the message closer at home for you to understand. And you saw the number of trees, 2,108,000 and more trees that we have planted. Every single person who has participated with us was given the opportunity to plant these trees. And this shows you some of the pictures of tree planting, different places, different Emirates, different locations. And to conclude, I would like to invite you all to work with us together for a better environment. I like this message because somebody told me in early 1990s, when we were doing one of these one-off campaigns, his number plate was not from Dubai, it's from Al Quwain. He opened the boot of his car, and there were many bags of aluminium cans and the aluminium lids only. So I asked him, how long have you been collecting? He said, more than 1 year. Why are you collecting it? How? He said, I knew somebody, somewhere, somehow will do something. That message always rings in my ear and reminds me to continue doing this and to continue this journey. So I want now our message to be, we all, everywhere, all the time, do something, bring action so that we can work together for a healthier and better environment. And I want to see you all involved in our programs. And thank you very much. Really, thank you for being a beautiful audience. I was looking at your faces, beautiful, very well attentive. Yalla, let's start with the questions.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I have a question. Did Sheikh Zayed, Allah yarhamah, ever see your program?
Yes. All the leadership in the country Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Sharjah and all the Emirates, because we work closely. For us to be able, for example, to plant trees, we need to have the right land. We need to have an irrigation system. So we go to the relevant government bodies and we ask them to come on board as partners. So we partner with the different entities. When we do our recycling program, we go to the hotels, governments, industries, everybody. We invite them to participate with us by joining even the trucks. As an NGO, we do not have that finances, but then the companies help us. That will allocate a bus for us. The other one will allocate a pickup for us. So for during the day that we want it, we have all the transportation that we require, supported by the private sector. And then the material is nicely collected from different locations, taken to the factories that we have in Dubai and Sharjah, and the factory stays open for us until late evening so that they can take all the material on board. Yes? Thank you.
What inspired you to start this whole organization thing?
Excellent. What inspired me? Okay. So it's a beautiful story, actually. As a young mother, I used to have a flower shop. And I was one of the first UAE nationals to open a flower shop as a business, in spite of me working in the government as well. So I used to go to a place here called Dubai International Art Center and learn how to do flower arrangement. And so there was this lady who was teaching art on painting on silk, and my sister-in-law used to go there. And she told me, Habiba, there is a lady who speaks your language, you must meet her. For me, the way I was brought up by my parents is to respect resources very much, and it was a tradition, that you put in your plate just what you want. You finish it. If you want more, you can take a second helping, but you never put more and then you throw it. Never happens. We were taught how to put the light off. Wastage of water was not in our daily activities at all. My mother used to enforce the spring cleaning twice a year. So whatever we were, mashallah, a family of 9. So, it has to go to the younger ones, and anything that we did not use for 6 months was told that you don't need it. Wash it, iron it, fold it, and give it to those who want it. So we started with that. So when this lady started talking about environmental issues, I told her, actually, this is what I do. Actually, this is what I do. So then she said, Habiba, you are such a young country and beautiful country. So why don't you do something more? Instead of just the family environment, why don't we extend it? So that is how the idea of, okay, let's form a group, really group of people from different nationalities that we can do something to volunteer. Okay? And that's how we started. But mashallah, the reception that we receive from the different members of the society, every single program that we rolled out was well received, encouraged. That motivated us and inspired us to continue and to move along. And the rest is history. Yes?
From time to time, as your business grew, did your children ever help you overcome challenges?
Yes. So when we started, we have a newsletter that we issue every month. But when I started in 91, there were no computers. And so I used to type it in the office and use the photocopy machine and bring it home. And my children will help me fold it, put it in the envelopes, put the stamp, come with me to the post office, and we will post it. So that is how we used to send it. And when I did any campaign, they would come with me. I would take them with me, and they will be standing there, receiving, writing, and participating. When I did all my educational programs, my MCs were always my children, okay, and until they reach the university level. But what has that translated into is that recycling has become part and parcel of their daily lives, understanding conservation of resources, the judiciary in what you are cooking, how you are cooking it, what is left. We eat the food that is left the second day. Many people think that is not healthy. There's nothing wrong with it. And I always say, cook what you want. And you can teach how much you have to cook so that there is no leftover. You do not need to throw anything. We learned that from my mother, because at that time when we were children, if there's anything left, it will be put in a basket, and my mother will take it to the goats, the chicken, everything that we had. Even if we didn't have it, our neighbors would have them outside their house. And even when that stopped, we would take them to the farm where there are quite a few animals. So there was nothing that will be thrown away. The seeds of the fruit, the peels will be put back into the soil and covered so that it adds nutrition. And that is how you add value. So my children then took environmental issues as a career path. One of my daughters did chemical engineering with environmental technology, and she was the first UAE national person to graduate in that qualification. She ended up, mashallah, she's working and enjoying and pushing and advocating for sustainability. So today, when we do a program, we ask the companies, the schools to come on board as volunteers as part of the organizing committees. And through them, we get our message across to their network, and that is how we expand our programs.
I found the presentation very interesting because actually when you think about the environment in the UAE, while they are environment conscious, we don't really hear about it. And today we learned about the Emirates Environmental Group, which is a campaign the UAE launched since 1991, which is actually very environmental focused. They do a lot for the environment. They're world leading. I think that's really impressive.
I think that I can tell that a lot of people have ideas on how to make the environment better, but they think that they're alone, so they don't know how to do anything. So I learned from here that when you all work together, you can achieve something a lot more than what you hoped for.
So one of my takeaways actually was we learned that when you think of a cell phone, once you're done with a cell phone, it's sort of like one of the most obsolete things you have because the technology is really out of date. So what was really interesting to learn is that 80% of the raw materials in the cell phone are recyclable, which means that they're actually useful. So a cell phone isn't actually useless. We also learned that there's gold in a cell phone, so that could be useful if you're ever in a pinch.